What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm just here for the moment. What do you mean?
I don't
What do you mean
know.
by that? What do you mean by that?
You said you're just here for the moment. What do you mean?
I've been thinking about death a lot. It's not looking good for me mentally.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was gonna
What
say
were you
it
gonna say?
technically it's gonna hit us all at one point, that death. We're all gonna
I don't.
meet it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Why do I have a big smile on my face?
Yeah, you said death.
My bad. My bad. Sorry.
I
Want to live?
I want to live and I want life to be so like I just don't want the idea of dying and not knowing when it's gonna happen is like it's eating at me.
Oh.
Yeah, in a bad way.
Oh.
Oh,
Interesting. Interesting. I could open a whole door of I have so many questions, but you already said you don't want to talk. So
well,
I
if
don't
you
want to
have
take
like
us there.
I want everything that's ever lived to be around.
Everything?
Well, if we can pick and choose, that'd be sweet. But but if not, you know,
Honestly, let's take a pause really quickly. Let's take a pause really quickly. That was a funny joke. That was a really funny joke that you just did there.
thank you.
I joined you for half a second because I was
That's
like,
that's
good. That's
nice.
good material. Oh my gosh. Who was I? Oh my gosh. With one of my clients last night, I was with a couple. Anyway, I was with I just looked at the time and I was like, oh, but I was with a couple and one of them, it's a cis hetero couple, and the guy in the couple, he made a joke. It wasn't a good one. And both me and her didn't laugh. And he was like, that one didn't land. I was,
You know what? And that's good. That's probably funnier than the actual joke.
and it was. I tried not to laugh
I
at that one.
love women. That's so funny. No, because men just aren't funny. They aren't. And it's actually going to piss me off right now. Men are not funny. And when they try to be funny, that will make me livid. Really. That'll make me livid.
And get there. Take it there.
You know who, I'm going to bleep this out.
I already know what you're going to say.
You know who loves to make some jokes that just don't land?
There was no doubt in my mind about the name that was about to come out of your mouth.
Him saying shit like, oh, yeah, it was a good song, but don't ever send me no shit about another man again.
Who laughed?
Insert crickets.
Boo. Audience booed.
Boo. That shit is not funny. Admire my song. I'm a Libra. Praise me.
It's not funny and it's not cute. What did what points were you going for with that comment?
Literally.
Was that some negging? Okay.
No. Oh my gosh.
It
And the
was.
way I'm just so turned off. Men just disgust me. They're so ill. You give a man an inch and he's going to take 369 miles. Okay?
Yes.
It is the bastardization of heterosexual dating.
She took it there.
What a waste of goddamn time.
You mean him or the dating in general?
Let's double team that one.
Ooh.
We're gonna do double time on that one.
Double trouble. Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm not gonna say a person is a waste of time or energy. Just kidding, I will.
Welcome back to Are We the Villains?
Question mark?
Perfect. Perfect
Yes.
execution.
With your host, I am C. This is.
Um,
And we are just kind of two young ladies who I would we're multi okay. Well, we're okay. So let me try. I'm going to edit. I'm going to have to edit. We are two like okay. Let's try it again. Try it again. We are two young ladies. We are multi hyphenate young ladies. We are, I would say, first, we are philosophers.
mm,
Second,
mm,
we are artists, which,
yeah.
really coincides with philosophers in many ways.
Mm.
Um, Next, we are products of the patriarchy and of consumerism and capitalism, unfortunately.
Womp, womp, womp.
Come on, chromatic scale. And I'm a singer, and M is a therapist, and we'll never let y'all forget.
But I want you to forget it because nothing I say here is sanctioned by I don't know,
It is
by
all
the,
state sanctioned, by the way. It is all state sanctioned. She's getting paid to say everything that she says.
my God, I wish. I wish I was. But we're
Oh,
doing this
me
for
too.
free. Okay.
For free and for the love of, I wanna be living for the love of you. All right now.
For the love of Gab.
Mm.
What it's all about.
Oh my gosh, for the love of Gab. Oh, for the love of Gab. Really? I do want to share something about Gigi.
Who's Gigi?
Oh,
Ask the
Gigi
audience.
just Oh, Gigi just our perfect young lady.
Amen.
She is my daughter. She's also M's daughter. And do you want to share that story really quick? Just briefly before we get into it?
Yes. So if we all remember when the pandemic began, what year was that? My gosh. Technically 2020 here in the US.
2020 vision.
Okay. I went back home to Mississippi. And I don't know why I said it that way, but I went back home. One of my cousins, their grandpa had their yeah, their grandpa's dog had a litter and they did not have anywhere for those puppies to go. And I was like, well, I've got some time. I've got some free time. I'll take a pup. I'll take a pup. I love pup. I love a pup. So my cousin brought me this dear sweet angel. Oh my gosh. And I think we're about to see her for the visual listeners.
Um,
um, and
Hi, Mama.
still not on the
Oh.
screen, by the way. I did get her at that time and um spent some time like what from March until maybe August, maybe July, August, raising her in Mississippi and in Texas. And then I was like, this apartment that I'm living in is too teeny, too teeny. Hey Bestie, do you wanna just watch her for just a couple of weeks? I don't know, just maybe like 6 weeks, maybe just a semester at most. By the way, it's been 5 years. So we see how that went. She found a lovely, lovely home with them.
She's here with us now. Gigi, say hi to everyone. Say hi. She said hi, y'all. My name is Gigi. Mama. Oh.
For the audio listeners only, she is a golden lab mixed with something. Lots of things, actually, multiple things, but she's just so
Yeah.
precious.
So if y'all heard those licks, go ahead, give him a lick, Mama. Give him a lick, Mama. Imagine she pulls out the guitar. She gives y'all a lick.
Nothing for you.
But yeah, she's the most perfect girl in the world. Um, she is my best friend, and she is she is the first being, person, creature, whatever you want to call her, that I run all of my music by. So she gets the first taste of everything, and then we decide. There are times where she's like, she'll be listening, she's like, she'll be like, tweak that note. I don't like that note.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said change that chord progression. You need something that's more minor. Don't feel pressured into the major space. Go ahead and go minor on their bitch asses.
And and she knows. She knows music. She
She
really does.
does. She's a musician for real. But yeah, so we are mothers to her. Um and it's crazy cuz I feel like I pushed her out of my womb.
And she did, if you ask me.
Yeah, by the way, y'all, I don't know, I'm not sure if a lot of y'all know this, but when you are 25, you are premenopausal, as in like you are about to experience menopause. So,
If you ever hear her
if you ever hear her
start a
speak,
story, if you hear her start a story in that way, no, there's not a fact in there.
yes. So, to all of our younger listeners who are not sure, like if you're around 16, 17, you're like, I don't know anything about menopause, but my mom gets heat flashes, hot flashes, all this stuff. Yeah, for us, that starts when we're about 25 years old. So, unfortunately, when your frontal lobe develops, that's also when your uterus expires. So,
Mm. I didn't get
so
that lesson.
we're living it. We're living proof. I need to get rid of this straw. This is so gay of me. No homo.
I was, or maybe homophobic.
No, I love the queers.
You mean, what do you mean? This is so gay of me. I have to get rid of it. It's so gay.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like gays. You know that. I don't like gays.
Mind you, 2 seconds ago, I love the queers.
No, I don't like the gays, the homos. I feel like I make these jokes, but a digital footprint does exist. Okay, that was a joke, by the way.
You're correct. You're
That was
correct.
a joke, by the way. By the
Oh,
way. No, but seriously, no homo. Seriously, I really, I don't play about that shit. Like, I'm not gay.
and she is, by the way. Okay, let me not put your business out there. Let me not speak for you, queern.
Queern. Hi, Queern. How are your vibes? How are your thumbs? Tell me.
I would say I'm calibrating. I'm calibrating. My vibes, honestly, I think like if quite literally if I just cut this space of time out from everything else that's happening in my vibes are actually kind of up.
Perhaps in a vacuum, as if we are experiencing this moment in a vacuum.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
My vibes are up and actually also my thumbs are up. How about you? How are you?
I'm gonna rip off of you so bad. I'm gonna say that if I were to seal this moment in a vacuum and only experience this, 100% vibes up, thumbs up. Like if we're talking life in general, vibes.
We're not. We're not. We're
Okay,
not.
okay, okay. No, you're right. And I can stop right there.
Tell us, tell us, tell us, tell us. What
No,
about life in
vibes up, thumbs up.
Okay.
Vibes up, thumbs. Vibes up, thumbs up. Five thumbs up.
You keep telling yourself that?
vibes, vibes up, thumbs up.
I do have something that I want to take a little bit of time for. And and I do mean I just want to take a moment. I do want to take some time for it. I have been reading about how, if we all recall, again, the ice raids are happening. They are a thing. They're still ongoing. Um, people that have been picked up by ICE, some of them, I don't know the specific numbers, but I do know that some of them have been sent to Guantanamo Bay. And if we know what we know about Guantanamo Bay, that's a very bad thing. Very, I mean, that's understating it to like the biggest
Yeah.
degree, just to call it a very bad thing. Um, just something to again take some time for, have on our minds. Um, this is still very, very important. I don't know if it's still being talked about as much as it was a couple of weeks ago or earlier this month, but still very present, very much still happening. And I think, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn. It just feels like we're living in like a fever dream dystopian world. And I have nothing for taking time today to due to the fact that I have been unable to learn. I've been stopping myself from learning anything new that's been going on. I've been hearing, ooh, okay, sorry. I've been learning or I've been avoiding headlines that have to do with like Trump and Zelensky and whatever is going on with Ukraine. And yeah, I've just been not taking time this week. And it's obviously it's important in my heart I'm taking time, and it's important for all of us to understand that even when we're not clocking into what's going on, it's all still happening and it's all still affecting our world and our communities. But unfortunately, I've just been so I just need a break. And if it just feels like endless, like oh my gosh, there's always something.
And it literally is endless. Like it feels like every single day there is something new.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the thing that we're trying to do here with taking time is just take a moment to
Yeah.
acknowledge, yeah,
It's
this is
happening.
real. This is really fucked up. This is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you need to take some time to not clock into everything that's happening in the world, like I've been doing this week, do that because it almost feels like double-edged sword in the sense of I need to know what's going on so I can be more aware, so I can know how to navigate through the world. But also, it feels like even though I know what's going on, what can I do about it? Like I have no
Yeah.
power, I have no money.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do about it? But you know, there's so much power in knowledge and awareness. So even that is doing something. Just being aware isn't is sometimes that's all you can do. But I did see that Trump's attorney general um, released Trump's on Epstein's Island.
Yes. Yes. Part one of that I've heard.
Wow. I don't even know. I don't know anything. I just saw the headline and I said, let me not even lock in for real. I said let me swipe on, but I'm liking where we're headed. I'm liking that.
Yeah. Again, like you said, there's so much to be aware of, and it quite literally feels endless. Like this doesn't even get into the like quad, quintuple, sextuple demic that we're basically stepping into right now.
Oh my god,
With
wait.
all these viruses and shit going around, like the
Yeah.
air traffic, everything happening with airplanes. This doesn't even get into again, Medicaid, SNAP benefits being. There is so much that is happening. So
What the
I
hell?
appreciate. I just appreciate the fact that you and I can take even just a moment to acknowledge some of it because we can't
Yeah.
acknowledge all of it. Some of it, hopefully, for anyone listening, either you're finding comfort in the fact of us also struggling with all of this news,
Yeah.
or you're learning something new. So either way,
Yes. My issue is that I'll take a break from staying informed and I'm still depressed. So what now? Well,
In
hmm.
that in that regard.
um,
Um, and that's where I'm just gonna have to pause us, and I'm gonna say,
okay.
"Let's go." No, I'm kidding. So I guess the question really is, and just like everything in life, well, let me not solve the question before I even ask it. But labels, are they helpful? Are they unhelpful? And I think this is an interesting conversation just because there are so many different kinds of labels that we're dealing with these days. Especially, oh my gosh, no, because now I'm about to get on a rant, and I don't mean to. So I'm actually
Please
gonna slow
do.
myself. I'm gonna
Please
slow
do.
myself down. But I want to ask you, um, what are, I mean, something both of us can talk about. But what are some labels that you feel like have either been put on you or that you have chosen to be like, this is mine. This is a label I attach to myself. I appreciate it, or even if you don't appreciate it, maybe. But yeah,
Hmm. Like for me personally,
yes,
well, you know this about me. I don't identify with any label like sexually or romantically. I don't view
she's
myself as
independent.
yeah, I'm I'm an independent contractor. I
Sign her.
like I don't consider myself straight, gay, bi, pan. I don't I don't consider any of that. I don't consider myself any of that. I am me and I like what I like and I want what I want. That's it.
Oh,
Um yeah, and that was like very like straight up, very clear cut for me. I think other spaces like hmm. Also I uno reverse that question also to you so you can give me like we can, both share what are labels that have been assigned to us and maybe like how have they hindered us? How have they helped us progress or like understood ourselves or the world? And I understand labels in the sense of like, they help us labeling things literally helps us understand the world. Like, okay, this is a school. There are certain things that
right.
happen in a school that's only meant to be in a school versus home versus whatever. But I think at some point when you get into the micro labeling and even like the individual and personal labeling, it's like for me I feel like that's only really hindered me in that sense. I think there are some ways where where labels are helpful because they help us understand the norms in those certain spaces that helps us like become accustomed to socializing and different things. But like even with music, I feel like having labeling my song a certain genre or labeling my music a certain genre has only made me feel inhibited and it doesn't even feel like it's guiding me. It feels like it's slowing me down and putting me in a box rather than allowing me to just bloom and discover what is out there. And I feel that same way sexually, which is why I say sexually just like romantically. Maybe yeah, I'll
Romantically,
say that instead. I feel that same way romantically where I feel like labeling myself as this or that would just be a hindrance. Like it would just make me get in my head more. And as someone with anxiety, I don't really need to get in my head more. I would actually love to be in my head less.
get out of there. Get out.
I'm trapped.
Um, yeah, yeah, and I feel like I relate to that in some ways. Where labels have definitely been like it just puts you in sort of a box. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you can't now that you're this, you can't do anything outside of this. You're
Right.
like I can't think of an example, which is silly, right? But
I can think of
like,
of an example for you.
yes,
You being a queer person and a pansexual woman being in a relationship with a
Hetero
man. Yeah, a hetero
yes,
presenting
yes,
relationship.
yes,
That,
yes.
yeah, I would actually love if you talked about that more. But y'all will obviously you can perceive M and you can see that she's a very just like a very I don't know, like you're M and you're very much not like the stereotypical girlfriend and I have my boyfriend and I will live with Supata. But
No.
anytime people see M, they're like, oh, like you're gay as hell. Oh, you're queer as hell. And then they find out that she's in a relationship with a man, and they're like, wait, you date men? What's going on? So yeah, if you could actually speak on that, and guess what? That's actually a label that's been assigned to you,
Yeah.
and I feel like it just closes our minds a little bit more because why is it that as a pansexual woman you can't be in a relationship with a man? And
Well,
that
and
relationship can still be a queer relationship because you are queer. You know, like, but from the outside, it just looks like, oh, that is Adam and Eve, and God made Adam and Eve, and not Adam and Steve. And you know what I mean?
yes, yes. No, you're actually hitting on so many like very, very important parts of what I experienced. Um, I think something that I feel like I have had a lot of pressure growing up, like realizing that I was a queer person in the first place. Um, when I don't know, I was young, maybe like between like 12 and 14 is when I realized. Um, and I don't know, there was just this air of like, okay, I am not. Well, first of all, I was living in Mississippi, so there was already this air in the fucking
Ooh,
Bible Belt. So think about that, and I'm black. So
ooh,
um,
girl.
there's just there's already a lot that comes with that being a queer person in the South, and you're black, and you grew up in the church. Like it already feels like there's this label, whether it's queer, gay, whatever, whatever. This label that is outside of what people want you to be, that is bad. You are bad if you are
Yeah.
this thing. So there was already a battle within myself for such a long time of no, there's no way. There's no way because that would mean that I'm bad and I can't be bad because I believe in God and I'm good and I'm going to
Mm,
heaven.
right.
Like there is so much already that came with that label, the way that it was given to me, I guess you could say, like taught to me
Yeah.
at first. Um, but then just my own personal again journey of figuring out, oh no, oh no, okay, that is who I am. That is a part of my story. How do I show up in the world in a way where people like do I need to do something so that people know that about me? Because
Mm,
again, that is something that I feel like for a very long time, again. I'm always saying again, but for a very long time, I feel like um, because I was in relationships with men on multiple occasions, um,
love it.
people are they're going to assume things, and not even to say that well, not even say that they're wrong to assume. I would appreciate if people didn't assume things, but not even to say that anyone is wrong to assume.
Yeah.
But people are seeing me in a relationship with a man and they're assuming something. So then it feels like I'm not even fitting the label that I know fits myself. Like I'm not
Yeah.
doing enough to make people know that I'm not just I'm not a heterosexual woman. I'm a queer woman in
Right.
whatever way that is. And there was this battle of like how do I prove that? And
Right.
that has been so hard of like oh I don't know, just this feeling of I need to prove that I'm queer to the outside world. Um,
Yeah.
e-
Which is so
even though
unfair.
within, And it really is because within I know that about myself and I know that I behave in that way and I interact, well, I mean not currently. Anyway, but you know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. I'm in a relationship with a man, so whatever. So, but like prior to this relationship, the way that I was behaving was as a queer woman, but it was
Yeah.
just like, am I not doing enough to prove to everyone that that's what I am? And do I not look enough like that?
And that's why I'm like, I feel like labels, I feel like they're harmful. I feel like they do more harm than good. Because if we just think, oh, that is a person. And even person can be a label, to be honest. It's a man-made construct, the idea of person. That is a person. And if we just stop there, that is a person. And if there are certain things that go along with that, that is a person. Okay, person means they deserve respect, they deserve rights, they deserve to express themselves however they see fit. They whatever, like if we just determine certain criteria for that idea of person, then there's no need for, okay, well, then there's man versus woman, and woman is this, and man is this. And then we have non binary, which is actually this, and it's bridging the blah, blah. We don't need all that. Going back to you feeling the pressure to be something. Yeah. And I feel that. I feel that in every way. I feel that in a different sense because I don't label myself as queer, even though of course I'm queer. I'm queen. I'm queer queen. But I just don't I don't subscribe to any romantic or like, whatever label. Yes, mama.
Here's my rebuttal. And this is
Please.
because I'm wanting to create an argument here.
Yes, come on, DA, devil's ad.
Um so I'm hearing you say that you don't use label or like you don't subscribe to labels in this way.
Yes. Yes, in that specific way. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Eat me up. Chew me out.
Let me
Eat
let
me
me
out.
ask.
Sorry. Ew.
What's wrong with you?
Ew. That's gonna piss me off. We're cutting that out.
Good. Let me ask. What is different about saying that and saying, "Oh, I don't use pronouns"?
I don't use pronouns.
Because people say that. People will be
Well, I
like,
do
"Well, I'm
use
not."
pronouns. I use she, and I use he, and I use they, and I use and I use as
No, no,
many.
no, for yourself. Like to describe yourself.
Oh, my pronouns are she, her.
No,
Well,
no, no.
because I'm a young lady. That's a label that I do subscribe to and prescribe to. That's my prescription.
So, I guess that's the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
piece
like, yeah. Like, am I being
that I'm
picky
getting
and
to,
choosy? Yes. Am I picking and choosing? Yes. Can guess what? Can beggars be choosers? Yes, they can.
and they should
How
be.
many beggars have I seen be choosers?
And I really think they should be because they're still people. But that's a whole other
Exactly.
conversation.
Yeah, bring the humanity back to beggars.
Yes. And I mean that literally.
Yeah, so this.
You crack me up. Okay, go ahead.
What? Oh,
Sorry.
because the way I'm so picky with my labels, I said I will never choose a genre. I will never put myself in a box romantically. But yeah, race. Yeah, let's add that label everywhere. Let's throw that over. Let's throw that around. Gender. Let's throw that around. No, but I hate all of it. I hate all of it.
Yeah.
But it's so ingrained in our like psyches, in our behavior, in our ethics and morals. Like it's so ingrained. But hopefully that
It
is not the
really is.
case with the next generation, with our children and so forth. Gigi,
Ooh, girl.
be Gigi, be the change you want to see in the world. Gigi, be the change that your moms want to see in the world.
That was that quote, the fact that that was something that was like repeated to us as children, be the change you wish to see in the world, but they never really meant that. They never really meant that, you know?
Whoa, they never meant that. Be the change you want to see in the world until you like I don't have a sentence, but
Exactly. Exactly.
be the change you want to see in the world until you make everyone too uncomfortable. Then go ahead and go back to being a quiet little girl, woman,
Yeah.
people pleaser, stupid
Yes.
girl.
Yes. And that's really what they meant. They didn't really mean be the change you wish to see in the world. Because the change that I wish to see in the world, oh, there would be a lot of fire.
If y'all if we were able to enact the changes that I wish to see in the world, there would be a lot more music and a lot more shucking and jiving.
Not shucking and jiving. Not shucking and jiving.
There would there would be a lot less. Let's move on.
Amen.
Let's move
Amen.
on. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm about to label people.
So that's part of what I want to say is that all this, I think you've said it before, it's a social construct. We made it up. So I think for some people,
Yeah.
labels can be so empowering
Yeah.
when you haven't had a space, when you haven't felt like you've had a space in the world.
Yeah.
And it feels like, well, fuck you. I'm going to create my own space.
Yeah.
I'm whatever. I'm whatever. I'm since we can make anything up, I'm whatever the fuck. And this is who
Right.
I am. And you're gonna talk to me in the way that I want to be addressed
Yeah.
because that is who I am because I've decided that. And I feel like there's something so empowering about that.
Yeah.
So I think for some people there's so much, I don't know, just there's something that is so special about being able to label themselves when they haven't felt like they've had a place to fit
Yeah.
before. But I also again still feel what you're saying of just like telling myself that I'm this thing has boxed me in. Like telling myself that because I used to label myself as bisexual, and it felt like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I have to wear a certain thing and I have to do a certain
Right.
thing. And I honestly feel like the most I've heard people calling me, being like, oh, you're not, you're not just a lesbian. Like the most I've heard people just being like, you look queer, you look
Yeah.
gay has been when I stopped giving a fuck about trying to prove that I could fit into that
Right.
label.
Yeah. It's like we
I
psych
just think that's
ourselves
so funny.
out. And literally, okay, I can speak on this as a musician. I feel like during the times where
Please.
I've tried so hard to prove, like, no, y'all, like, I know music theory, I know chord progressions, I know how to make a song that's good. That's the time where I'm like jeopardizing myself and I'm stressed out and I'm like trying to live up to this idea of what an artist is or what a musician is. And whenever I don't give a fuck about genre, when I don't give a fuck about expectations, when I don't even give a fuck about me and my ego, it's
Okay.
it's crazy what can happen and what can occur.
I
There we
was
go.
trying to I couldn't figure out where it was. But yes, the ego, oh, burn
Mm,
her. No offense. You're a part of me. I love you, whatever, but
wait.
burn her
No.
down.
Wait, no. Burn her. And I don't love my ego.
Uh,
I
she's a part
don't.
of you. She's a part
I
of you. And she's gonna
yeah.
be there. She's gonna be there, babe.
Oh my god. No, and I really feel like my ego is like she balances me out. But and I want it to be that way. But what there, it's so evident looking back on different times in my life when I've let my ego run shit. For our audio listeners, M was just juggling her microphone. She just did a circus trick.
Oh, I did that. I'm sorry. You were in the middle of something really important about your ego,
That is so funny.
and my brain wanted to play a game.
It's all
Wait,
good.
you were talking a second ago about your experience being a musician, not fitting into a specific genre, but essentially feeling like you have to prove yourself because like there's this label. I guess what I'm understanding, there's this label of musician and what you have to do to fit
Yeah.
to be accepted as a musician.
Yeah, and even like excluding the idea of genre, just the idea of musician was already a hard enough and almost exclusive like um what's it called? Like club that I was trying to prove that I was, deserving of entering. Like this
Yeah.
idea of oh, I'm a musician. Oh, well, what kind of chord progressions do you use in your songs? Is it all 1/4? Because like that's just all popular music, and that's not real, and blah 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 blah. And oh, do you
Yeah.
know how to do a chord chart? Oh, you're a musician. Okay, so what have you produced? Have you written for other artists? Is it just for yourself? Can you play multiple instruments? There's so much pressure when you say, even for me, and you can say that about so many different professions. And I think in a way it is good, and that pressure and that challenge has made me a better musician. Having to prove myself has made me a better musician, but not while I'm actively trying to prove myself. It's like I'm trying to prove myself, and in the process, I learned so much. And then once I'm like, okay, fuck all that, I'm not gonna prove myself. I'm just gonna be who I am and discover for myself. Then it's like, oh wait, I'm creating incredible music, and now I feel like I'm living a musician's story or life. But it's once you stop. For me, it was like once I stopped trying to live up to this idea and just living in myself and living in this body and being who I am and allowing the music to flow through me, that's when I've suddenly discovered, oh my gosh, I have a sound. Oh my gosh, I have this, I have that. But also, okay, that makes the label sound good. But I'm not trying to make them sound
No.
good.
I think no, and I think so like I said at the beginning, I was like I don't want to give the answer. Now obviously this is my answer. It's not the
Ooh, give us
I
the
was like
answer.
I don't want to give the answer before I'm putting up air quotes for
Yeah.
audio listeners. The answer, um, when obviously there's different answers and it depends on the person, but that's sort of the whole point is that this is all subjective. So if it works for you,
Yeah.
then it works for you. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and that's
Yeah.
fucking okay. So what I'm hearing from you is this experience of like whether it's a musician, whether it's queer, whether it's black, whether it's woman, whether it's any identity label you
Yeah.
can hold, there's this experience of feeling like you have to meet a certain criteria in order to be that thing.
Mm.
When it's like, no, I think you just kind of are.
Yeah.
Oh, I think, well, I'm looking at you. You look like a black woman to me. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that was another thing that I grew up experiencing was questioning my blackness a lot of the time.
Oh
Just like,
my
damn,
God.
like am I black enough for these people? Like whatever. And I have again, once I got to a point of where it was like, actually, y'all are not gonna tell me what being black is. Not like anybody,
Literally.
but you know what I mean. But it's just like no one can tell me what that is to me. I am the only person who can define these things for myself, and then I get
Exactly.
to live in those things. So then I am those things. Oh,
Yeah.
now for you transracials,
Oh my gosh, that episode
this
of
is
Atlanta.
exactly. This is not for you. This is not for you.
To all of our transracials and our trans specials, if we're changing
I'm not
species,
talk-
you've taken it too
I'm
far.
I'm not talking to you. I'm sorry. I'm not talking to you.
We're taking it too far.
I just feel like it feels like there's a certain criteria you always have to meet in all of
Yeah.
these things. And once you realize, oh no, I don't have to meet a certain criteria,
I
then
can
I don't
just
know, life just
exist and
feels
discover for myself.
exactly. And I can just discover my for myself what being black is, what being a black
Yeah.
woman is, what being a queer black woman is. Like it doesn't have to match what literally anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
You do not have to be the musician for them. You have to be the
Right.
musician for you. Okay.
Oof. And you don't have to be
Okay.
queer for them, but you got to be queer for you.
Amen. Amen. But yes. So, but in another note, something I'm curious about your opinion on, and maybe you'll have a very similar opinion, but like the context of labels. I think we've talked about like profession, demographics,
Yes.
sexuality, etc. But I'm
Yes.
curious about like maybe how what you think about as it pertains to like mental health diagnosis and how those sorts of
You're going to
labels
hate this
are.
one.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, I think that mental health labels are helpful and they are beneficial. Because but they also for me, and I'll talk about it for this is just me personally. But I know this is something a lot of people experience. But I think generally mental health labels, and I'm maybe this is your opinion too, I don't know, but they really help us understand, like I feel like that's more scientific. It's about literally the human brain and what is going on, the differences between different human brains, and how do we cater to different types of brains so that people can live the best lives possible. For example, someone with schizophrenia, what do we need to do to make it so that they have the best quality of life? Medication?
Right.
Okay, let's make that happen. Or change of environment, whatever it is, like understanding those labels scientifically so that we can produce like a real life benefit. You know what I mean? That affects people. But I will say for me,
Oh,
as someone who claims to have undiagnosed ADHD, and I can't prove it because I don't have a diagnosis.
I'll diagnose you.
Go ahead and
I'm
diagnose
not
me.
qualified. I'm not qualified, but I'll do it. I'll do it.
I, I think for me, the combo of depression, we're doing depression and we're doing seasonal depression. And then we're also doing ADHD. We're also doing TISM because I definitely got a touch of the tiz. Okay.
A touch of the tip.
Mm. But yeah, I think for me like having that ADHD, like oh I have ADHD. It's not diagnosed, but in my head I have ADHD just because of how my brain works. And also everyone around me would say, "Oh, yes, he definitely has ADHD." Um yes. For
Yes,
me, I
ma'am.
feel like that's been almost like a breeding ground for excuses and like okay, bear with me now. And kind of like like excusing my shortcomings. For example, one thing that I really struggle with is timeliness. I've always struggled with it. You can ask my old friends from childhood. When I was 7 years old, 13 years old, 18 years old, now I'm 25 years old, I've always struggled with my concept of time. I always think that I have way more time than I do. Okay?
Correct.
So, because of that, that has translated to I have issues with showing up for work late. And I have a job where I can't be late because I'm a teacher. And so if I come late, my student is waiting for me, whatever. Um Let me also say like timeliness has always for me equated stress. So that's something that I'm like trying to change now. For me, okay, I keep saying for me. But growing up, like going to school, The way my mom woke up me and my brother from school whenever she used to take us to school before I was driving to school was literally screaming at the top of her lungs, "Wake up!" blah blah. And I was always the last to get out of bed. My brother would. He was he it made I don't know, he was better at getting out of bed. I don't know, maybe he doesn't have ADHD, I don't know. Um, but he would be able to get out of bed, blah blah blah. He and my mom would be screaming at me like, "Yo, you're always alive, blah 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 blah." So for me, 6 a.m. Getting screamed at, oh, that's nothing. So because of that, that translated to on my way to work, I'm running 10 minutes late. I have a deep anxiety within me telling me, screaming in my head, "You're so late. Why are you always late?" Blah 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 blah. It's all connected. The voice in my brain is the same voice that was, my mom and my brother's voice growing up telling me that I'm always late and I'm always dragging behind and I'm always making everybody else late. But now I'm 25 and being late and being stressed and being anxious on the way to work is just not fun, and it's just not how I want to go about my day. When my boss comes to me saying, "Hey, see, you've been late to work twice this week." In my head I want to say, and that's been torture for me. Do you understand? I have no desire to be late. In fact, it makes me want to redacted. It makes me feel really not good to be late. And going into work late, knowing that people notice that I'm also late, knowing that there's someone waiting for me, it makes me feel really not good. But it's different now because I'm not in school anymore, or I don't have anyone, like I'm an adult now. So sorry I'm yapping, but now being late is, it's only on me. I'm the one that has to make sure I'm on time, but I'm so bad with time. So now I'm bad with time on the opposite end of the spectrum where I try to be early as hell. Anyway, but that's another issue because I don't get paid well at my job. So why would I go to my job early as hell when I don't get paid to be early? I don't know. Anyway, does any of that make sense? Is any of that like salvage? Should we cut all that?
No, all of that makes a lot of sense. And I can hear why you feel the way that you feel. I do. I do understand that.
So the moral of that is knowing that one of the symptoms of ADHD is a skewed perception of time is like, well, like I'm late because I have ADHD and I know I have ADHD, but it's like that doesn't change the fact that you're late. That doesn't change the fact that you're about two late sessions from being fired. So what are you going to do about it, you know? And if anything, I feel like that's helped excuse me from my lateness in my head, not in real life. Oh, cuz in real life nobody gives a fuck. But now it's like, okay, I have ADHD and I'm always running late. So what am I going to do about it? Cuz I can't keep living like this. I can't keep being stressed every day. I'm going to pull out my hair. Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense. And it reminds me of what we talked about before, or it reminds me of what I talked about before in one of our previous episodes of like acceptance with action. It's
Mm.
accepting the fact that you have this disability of ADHD and how that affects time blindness, how that affects, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all in all the ways. But not just accepting it and then being like, oh well, accepting it and then okay, what am I going to do for myself so I can still make it to all the things that I want to do and what's
Yeah.
important to me so that this thing that I know is true about me doesn't impact these things that are important to me. Now, that brings in the question of, is work important to you? We hate work. But
No. Oh my gosh. And that is a big thing with this is if something is not important to me, I don't care how late I am for it, which is a big part of why I be late to that job. Cuz
right.
I have another job that I've never been late for. And that speaks a lot. That says a lot. So, mm,
Yeah. Mm. Mm,
Anyway,
something to think about.
back to what you were saying though.
No, but I think that's something I think that's something really important to think about. But also now something that came up for me while you were talking about it though is first you mentioned something about schizophrenia and it was like with schizophrenia, like if someone has schizophrenia, let's make sure they have the extra support, the tools that they need, the da 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 da.
Yes.
To me that also sounds like acceptance with action.
Yes. Absolutely.
And then later I heard you say
Oh,
your ADHD feels like a shortcoming.
okay. No, 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 no. Wait, did I say that? Well, it
You did.
does sometimes. And it does feel like that. But also it feels like my brain works in a way no one else's works. Like in a good
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Um,
Your brain is so special. I
okay.
I heard that stuff I heard earlier. Your brain
Okay.
is so special.
Oh, sorry.
So I guess my pushback on that is coming from I guess my understanding of ADHD as being a disability and that it's not something that takes away from who you are as a person. It's just another fact about who you are as a person. And rather than rather than it being something that's negative or re- like reducing something about you, it's just knowing, okay, she needs extra support in this way, or she needs extra tools related to this thing, or something like that, rather than it being, here she goes again being late. It's okay. We know that she is going to be late. So what can we do to help her
Yeah.
not be late? Like what does she need to support her in
Yeah.
order to help her not be late? And when I think about that, I also think about my own ADHD and oh my gosh, time blindness. Sean, my partner, I'm so fucking bad at this. He will lie to me about the time
Mhm. He's been
of a
doing that for
dinner
years.
for years. He will lie to me about the time of a dinner reservation or something, 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 because there's just something about me. I can't, I can't,
Yeah.
I can't prepare myself in time. And he is understanding of that. And rather than
Mhm.
being like, oh my God, here she goes again. She can never just be on time. She can never just figure it out. He says, okay, this is a part of who she is, acceptance. This is a part of who
Yeah.
she is. How can I support her in this? I'm going to lie to her. But no, 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 and I
Yes.
I I say that jokingly because I really do appreciate it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna say our dinner reservation is at 7:30 when it's really at 8:30 because she's not gonna be ready until 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And that he hasn't been wrong yet.
He has eaten really every single
It's
time.
it's foolproof. So I say that to
Yeah.
say I'm also hearing your like you do something similar for yourself. You're like,
Mhm.
okay, I know there's gonna be traffic. I just need to leave early. I just
Yes.
need to leave early. And again, that's something that I have been trying to do for myself. As I like I said, I have clients in person. Um, I like to be there at least an hour beforehand. Not even not even because I necessarily need to be, but just because if I don't tell myself to get there an hour early, I'm gonna be late. And
Right.
I cannot be late to clients. I can't because I'm the therapist.
Right.
If I'm not there, they're not seeing anybody. So kind of like
Girl.
what you're saying with teaching. Like if
Literally.
I'm not there,
Then what? Right.
exactly. So I anyway, I say that to say acceptance. It's
Yes.
I try to reframe for myself when it comes to my ADHD. It's not a shortcoming. It's not a negative thing about me. It's just a thing about me. I accept this is a fact about me.
Yeah.
What can I do to best support myself in the things that matter to me, knowing that this is a thing about me. This is why accommodations, disability advocacy is so, sorry, I couldn't think of the word advocation. I don't know. But
Yeah.
that is so important because situations like this is obviously, like you're saying, I think it's important that it's not used as something to be like, oh, I'm just going to show up late. So just expect that. Like, no, you
Right.
still have responsibilities. You still need
Yeah.
to do what is expected of you. You still need to do your job. You still need to do, but this is still something that disables you. This is still something that impacts you.
Right.
And people should just be more considerate about the fact that other people have things going on, whether it is something like ADHD. And again, it's not to excuse the behavior, but it's just to be understanding that there are extra barriers in place for people that others may not be experiencing that makes it easier for them to show up to work on time. Anyway, I say all that to say the things that we are experiencing, the labels that we have upon ourselves, ADHD, autism, black woman, queer, musician, therapist, whatever the fuck it is, I think the point is figuring out how to make that shit work for you.
Yeah.
Um, Figuring out the support that you need under those quote unquote labels or whatever. Labels as it pertains, like what you need for those labels for like the mental health aspect, but then just what works for you under all those other types of labels, romantic,
Yeah.
individual, demographic, whatever, whatever. Um, I think that's the whole point. It's just that that shit is so personal, and we don't give ourselves the opportunity for it to be personal. So
I really appreciate this conversation and you kind of giving that different perspective because I do have a tendency to be hard on myself. And it's nice to be like, "Oh, well, like look at this." So I can still be hard on myself, but I can also have a different perspective as well.
I mean, and yes, two things can be true. Two things can be true.
Balance. But in the meantime, let's hop on over to media. Ooh, ooh. For this week, we're gonna do Ginger by Brockhampton. You should listen to that
Period.
song. You should jam it. That is an
Ooh.
incredible song. And also my unstreamable media at the moment is my album that I'm working on.
Probably couldn't even hear that, but I was screaming.
But yeah, Ginger by Brockhampton. 100%, 1000%. That's been like my song this week. What about you?
I honestly, personally, would love to hear you just talk about music forever. Um,
I'm gonna
but let
cry.
me, but let me think. Um, I recently listened to "The Breeze Grew a Fire" by Sean.
I started listening to it and then I got distracted.
Get undistracted.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
no, no, no. That I really did enjoy that album. Um, I have only listened to it once, and unfortunately, when I listen to things once, unless it was like life altering, it doesn't stick
Yeah.
with me that much. And that is not to speak to the quality of this album at all.
Yeah.
There was there's one song that I know that I do love from it. It was the single. I've already listened to that single a bunch of times.
Oof.
Counterfeit.
See,
Love that.
one out of. Did you feel that way about John's
Oh,
album whenever you first listened to John's album, Return to Form?
no. And actually,
Yeah.
speaking of that album,
Because that's
I shared it
generational.
with no, it really is. And I shared it with Sean this week, and he really enjoyed it as well. Um
That means a lot. I shared it with Jayla and Remy last week, and we were high as fuck, just literally locked the
of
fuck in listening. And just seeing people enjoy that album is truly one of my favorite pieces of work of all time.
Wow.
For real. And I've told him that. I told him that last week. And
Now I know
yeah.
that's again not the music or the media for today, but can I just ask what your favorite songs are from that? Because I remember the ones that Sean told me, and I just want to tell you.
Oh my gosh, yes. I love all of them. Really in different
Of
ways.
course.
I love Molotov. I love Addiction. I love Coltrane. I love Supreme. I love Withdrawal. I love Crystallization. I love Gymnast on the Lawn. I love yeah, I love that project. It has changed my life. It has changed me as a musician, as a person.
Wow.
And like how many albums can you really say that about? For me, like maybe a few for sure, but this one is definitely like number 1. But what are Sean's songs? Sean's songs though.
He so I mean again, I think something similar with both of us is that it takes more than one listen, but after his first listen, he did add I think he said Molotov, which I think is like a crowd favorite.
Yeah.
um Molotov and the last song, which I can't remember the name to, but it's all instrumental.
Yes. 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 That one is. I think that
He
one's. No, I don't think that one is Withdrawal. That's not Withdrawal. Withdrawal is the
mm-mm.
only one that's like acoustic.
I
Um,
can't.
but I know
Yeah,
I
I
know
can't.
exactly which one you're talking about. I hear it in my brain right
Yeah.
now.
Yes, and he really liked that one. He really loves the piano, so I also can't wait till he hear.
Yes.
But my media for the week, The Breeze Grew Fire. I definitely say listen to it. I loved my time. I do need to listen to it again, but I will say Counterfeit, Chef's Kiss. I love that
Mm,
song, but again, it's the single, so I've been used to that one. I know there were other songs that I really enjoyed too, but none that
yeah.
are yelling out to me right now. But
Yeah.
my true media that I have been just jamming to the last few weeks. Oh my gosh, like anything early 2000s, early 2010s. We're getting into our Demi Lovato music.
Yes.
We're getting into our Alicia Keys.
Ooh.
We're getting into damn, I don't remember anything else, but a lot of
Yep.
a lot a lot of early 2000s, 2010s music recently has just been giving me what I need, and I have just really been enjoying it. Um, and I implore everyone to run to it. Go back to your roots. Go back
Please
to your roots.
do. No, that's the honest God
Yeah.
truth about labels.
That's honestly got truth about labels. Yeah, we back to
That's
one
the
topic really today.
Yes, that's the honest God truth about debilitating labels and the excuses we make for ourselves. So,
Or or helpful labels
yes.
and the comfort and empowerment they can provide both sides.
Yes. I leave you with this. Any obstacle, including self-inflicted ones or perhaps society-inflicted ones, are overcomable. We are we are more than our labels, and they can be helpful, they can also be harmful.
For the audio listeners, I'm emoting everything
Yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Em.
everything that C is saying. But yes, be who you are. For your pride, for your culture, for
Mm.
your mental health, for
Mm.
your identity.
Mm.
I can't think of any others. Be who you are.
Mm.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. You can find us on all social media platforms, most social media platforms actually, um, at AWTV Pod. And
Ooh.
you can also find us at our website, awtvpod.com. And where can they listen to us and watch us?
Y'all can listen to us on all streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, even though we don't support him.
At all.
Um, Title, if they have podcasts on there.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. And um and on social media. Support us on social media for real. And all of our links are in the bio of this episode. And we love you so much. And you can also find us on YouTube. And you should subscribe to our YouTube and comment down below if you would like to see us talk about anything in particular or do some cool activities.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Let yourself speak. You're speaking really great
I
today.
don't like when I speak.
I love when you speak. This is a podcast between two people,
Oh, I
not one.
forgot. I just want to be your henchman.
Oh, we are a team. We're not Batman and
No.
Robin. We are Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
We are
I've never seen it. I've never seen
we
it.
are Wando and Cosma. Wanda and Cosmo. Wando and Cosma.
I like that better. Wando and Cosmo.
I like
And which
that.
one are you?
Well, you already know I'm Cosma. You're definitely Wando.
And I'm, and I'm Wando.
You're so
Wando and Cosmo.
womp womp Wando.